I think the reason why Patty LuPone has such a distaste for President Trump is that she sees herself in him. And if you don't believe me, just read the latest interview she did with The New Yorker. If you're new here, my name is Kecia Young, your favorite suburban black girl, and this is my second time recording this video because the first time I recorded it, all of a sudden my light went out. And usually when that happens, it's a sign from the universe to regroup and say things a little bit differently because y'all know I am an Aries from the East Coast. Sometimes Sometimes I get a little bit blunt. Sometimes feelings get hurt, but I don't want my message to get lost in this. Now, if you have been living under a rock and you are a Broadway fan, yeah, Patty LuPone came out of her face and said some crazy shit today. And here's why we need to discuss it because one, no disrespect of our Broadway queens, Kecia Lewis and Audra McDonald, will be tolerated ever in your life. How dare you? Oh, to throw your phrase back at you. How dare you? First of all, Kecia Lewis is minding her own business. The classy thing to do, the mature thing to do, would be to acknowledge, you know what? Maybe I have some work to do in this area. But instead of doing that, what did you do? You started comparing Broadway credits? Like, how old are you? Like, you I'm too old to be doing that shit, and I'm half your age. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Here's the thing. Nobody's competing with you. Nobody's competing with you. And you take issue with the fact that she's labeled a Broadway vet. I'm sorry, isn't being a veteran of something mean? Doesn't that mean that you've done it? She's done Broadway. She's also a Tony winner, just like you are. But instead, you did something that Trump seems to do all the time with Joe Biden. When he is held accountable for some wrongdoings, what does he do? He tries to pivot to Joe Biden, who is minding his own business, not in office, not running against him. So I think y'all are very similar, and maybe that's why you don't like him. Second, Kecia Lewis is one of the kindest, warmest leaders on Broadway. When I made my Broadway debut in The Little Mermaid, my friends introduced me to Kecia, and she was so warm and welcoming and just open and honest. I remember we had just gone to, we were having margaritas in Worldwide Plaza after rehearsal, and she was just very open about her experiences on Broadway as a Black woman, especially as a fellow tall Black woman. And I really appreciated that because I did not find many mentors on Broadway. Kecia was the first Black woman to be really open toward me, and Tracy Toms, when I was her standby in the Broadway play Stick Fly, she became a mentor and friend. So for you to fix your face and to say in print anything crazy about Kecia for doing what she's supposed to do. Because when we are the older cast members, we're supposed to be leaders. We're supposed to care about our cast. And what did she do? She cared about her show. She cared about her castmates. And she called you in with respect. She held you accountable, but she opened the door to dialogue and healing. And what you did in response was say, I have more Broadway shows than you. Like, this is why we can't have nice things. This is why Broadway has the problems that Broadway has. Because the only problems I've had on Broadway were really the majority of issues I had when I was working in theater in New York were with white women. It wasn't really with white men. It was with white women who didn't like being held accountable or who didn't like being corrected by a Black woman. You see, if you actually read Kecia's response, it was so classy, it was kind, but she was calling for accountability. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if in the DNA there's some slave ownership that you can't just let go of, but there is something for white women who have not done the work. Y'all lose it when a Black woman points out something, no matter how she does it. We could say it with the most sugar in our tone. Y'all freak the fuck out. The white women who haven't done the work, paint themselves as the victim. Patty, you were wrong. You were dead ass wrong. And the microaggressions in how you were talking about Hell's Kitchen were clear to every Black person that read what you had to say. So, unless all of us are wrong, and unless you're the expert on microaggressions and race in America, just take a seat and maybe learn something. Because this didn't have to be like this. You didn't have to do this. You didn't have to do this. And here's the thing, I know you're old. I know you are like my parents' age. And I know that once you get to that age, you're pretty set in your ways. I hear that. And yet, I join in the rest of the Broadway community in saying that this is unacceptable. And then you have the nerve to bring Audra into it and make it like you are the victim because Audra can see what a microaggression is, because Audra can read between the lines, because before Audra was on Broadway, Audra was a Black woman. And you have the audacity to make it like, oh my God, Audra chose her Blackness over having my back. Like, it's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. And the thing is, once we realize that the white women we thought we were cool with are actually low-key racist, we pull back. So it's not that she's not your friend. You're not her friend. Because I guarantee the minute she caught wind of that, she was like, I'm going to put her on the bench. She's not on the starting lineup anymore. I'm going to put her at arm's length because she is not safe. But you had to center yourself in that. And you just couldn't resist it. And it's really a shame. It's really a shame. But here's the thing, Broadway folks, and especially to my babies who are moving to New York, excited to join Broadway, didn't I tell you? I know that a lot of times people think that I am sounding the alarm unnecessarily about the fact that Broadway has a lot of work to do. And now you're seeing it. I don't like to be right, but I have my lived experiences. I have stage 4 endometriosis, which I know was, I'm going to say that at least half of my endometriosis and my fibroids and my ovarian cysts, I think the severity, like at least half of it, is because of how often I've had to bite my tongue when faced with white women who have to be the center of everything in the theater community. I talk about this in my show, Suburban Black Girl. And I also know, also, it's hilarious to me that the most offensive, look, my show is not for everybody. I know that getting rejections from theaters as a writer, as a playwright, boom, is part of the game, just like as an actor. But to be told by two white women that hold high positions that I used to respect that my show had no arc, and that, oh, we don't do shows like this, even though you work for organizations where you say that you want to promote diverse voices, that you are a theater focused on the work of women, but you have a problem with my show, a show that was birthed at the Ojai Playwrights Conference, and I also further developed it at La Jolla Playhouse. You mean to tell me that my show got through those two incredible playwriting organizations that people have been working for years to get their work into, and you're going to tell me that my show has no arc because I held a mirror up to you? And again, this is not all white women. I know a ton of white women who have done the work and are willing to do what they can to support new work, to be that voice. I'm going to need a lot of you white women on Broadway who have done the work, white women in dressing rooms around the country. I need you to be willing to be uncomfortable. I don't want you to stay silent the next time you see a white woman have a meltdown because a Black woman tried to hold her accountable. The days of you staying silent while you see this Black woman get raked over the coals by white woman tears or by accusations that come out of nowhere because a Black woman actually corrected her or held her accountable, you need to start speaking up, because I am sick and tired of y'all coming up sheepishly after it happens and like, oh my God, that was so terrible. I just didn't even know what to say. I'm sorry. Stop it. Stop. Get your cousins, get your sisters. Like, you coming up to us after does not help us at all. And that's also part of the problem. Y'all know you turn on the tears when you want to get your way. Y'all know that you center yourselves and claim to be the victim. And it's the oldest trick in the book to make the Black woman the aggressor. And this just goes to show that age and your resume and the amount of Tony Awards you have does not mean that you cannot, it doesn't mean that you will not fall into this habit of making everything about you and making yourself the victim. Y'all need to learn how to take accountability. You do. And here's the thing again, she was so nice to you. She was so nice to you when she could have read you for filth, but she didn't. And what are you showing? Just a lack of class. So, to the young Black people who are moving to New York and you're excited, I need you to understand that Broadway has just as much work to do as America. I've said it before and I will say it again. Broadway has as much work to do as America does when it comes to race. Not to mention this whack ass headline from BroadwayWorld.com that I saw, where I think it's a Scottish theater company is requiring everyone but Black people to take DEI courses so that they learn how to treat Black people with respect. And what I'm reading, first of all, the headline was just written so poorly because it's basically making it seem like, oh, well, this isn't fair. Why shouldn't Black people have to listen? You mean to tell me that I should have to take training and listen to people learn how to treat me like a human being? I have to sit there and be gaslit as people ask questions and as people are annoyed that they even have to be there to learn how to treat Black people with respect. You mean to tell me that I should have to sit through that? So, yeah, your headline was trash, Broadway World. Do better. Do better. Your vocal heroes are people, and they are fallible. And that is what we're seeing right now. Some of our best actors are horrible human beings. Some of our best writers, terrible people. Great artists, terrible people. So as you move to New York, remember, it's a workplace. If you leave a show with friends, that's a bonus. You are there to work. Do not put these people up on a pedestal because clearly everyone doesn't have home training. Kecia Lewis, I love you, Queen. Audra McDonald, I love you, Queen. And I know y'all are too busy to be dealing with this nonsense, but I just want y'all to know we love you, we support you. And Patty, this ain't it. And what's a bigger shame is that this is what people are going to remember about you. Like, you cross the line from being a fierce diva who doesn't take shit from anybody to low-key racist and petty and immature. And that's a shame. I actually liked your work. Okay, that's it for now. I will be back with more because while I've been working on my play, I'm like, I didn't know how it could get worse, but it's getting worse. And y'all know I'm going to talk about it. So I am going to rest and enjoy the rest of my Memorial Day out here in LA. And yeah, I'll be back with more. And here's the other thing. Don't be afraid to walk away. Don't be afraid to say no. Because you have a lot of theaters that promised to do the work. And a lot of those same theaters did not do the work. So just because this industry runs on fear doesn't mean that you have to silence yourself and that you have to stay in an unsafe situation. If you are in a dressing room that is harmful to you, say something. I wish I would have said something years ago when I started dealing with the toxicity of some of the white women in this industry. If you really want to know if a white woman is racist or not and you're an actress, book a role that they were auditioning for. You will see just how quickly they go from, oh my gosh, congratulations, to, well, she just got it because they wanted a black girl. All of a sudden, we just got the handout and we don't really deserve to be there. I was cast because I was talented. I was cast because I fit the vision of the character. I was cast because my audition went better than yours. So maybe Patty's upset because Audra now has this title where she's the most nominated actress in Tony history. Maybe that's why.